Good morning to everyone. And yeah, I see a full house, right? And Mumbai is always a welcome city to be in. I am a born and brought up Mumbaikar, settled in Bengaluru. So always feel nice to come back to home. And here I am to share a story of something we did transformational. And I'm sure it connects to most of you, right? And you would have experienced Digi Yatra and the seamless, hassle-free experience that you get at airports. So coming to the word seamless, right? And thanks, Shantari, for setting the context, right? Seamless is something which we want in our day-to-day life. And if you really look at it, right, there are processes that are there in our day-to-day life. So many processes, right? You take a simple thing like opening a bank application, right? It used to be so complex, fill up such long forms. And even now also, right, you need to fill in so many details. Whereas it could just be one Aadhaar number, click enter, and you should be able to open your bank account. Many people have started doing it now, but many people have not. So point I'm trying to raise is there are complex processes that are in place, and there is a simplicity that can come out of all this and make your life seamless. I'll give another example. You book a flat, and we were talking, Shantari, right? You book a flat, you have to apply for a loan, you get the flat, take possession, multiple documents, khata certificate to be done. After that, you have a water bill to be transferred to your name. You have a telephone line again, maybe you have a electricity connection. So many things of these are default that could be connected to your same flat, right? You don't have to do unnecessary documentation. And I'll tell you, I own 2 flats, not very expensive ones. And both these flats, I do not have the meter, electricity meter in my name. You know why? Because it is so complex. And who's going to stand in that queue, fill up that form and submit and get that changed? So it is still in the builder's name. Only thing is, there is a convenience that I can pay the electricity bill easily. And that's where I come back again. The simpler you make a process, the better is the adoption. And that's what we have tried to do with our journey, right? And I also like to say meaningful intervention. So I'll just touch upon, the vision that we set out with Digi Yatra, a brief about, how the process flows, and most of you obviously know it, how it has changed travel, what is the impact. There's something else which I would like you to sort of, also appreciate, that, this whole ecosystem is completely privacy by design. We do not store your credentials in any central repository. And therefore, that's one important message that you should carry back home. There are people who do not understand and appreciate it, and because of that, maybe they don't want to use Digi Yatra. But I would like to say that it is the best of its kind, one of its kind in the world, the biggest of its kind in terms of an implementation scale and volume perspective. Brief on the architecture and how it is privacy by design. And then I'll go into some metrics of how big, not big, I would say, how we are growing rather. And then what's there in the future. And maybe I'll pick your brains also as to what could be there in the future. So we started with this whole journey saying that, okay, it's a walk in the park experience that we would want to have for passengers going through the airports. And erstwhile, there was, all the people who enabled travel, the airlines, the security agencies, the people who are at the airport who enable your travel, everyone had a sense of entitlement to their own, on the passenger. And they had only one thing in their mind: I have a process, I have to follow that process. And the passenger, who cares, right? I mean, whatever pain that they go through, not bothered. I have a process that is like sacrosanct. We changed that. And we said, put the customer in the center. Look at that customer's needs, and then find out, how you enable that journey. So that's how we said that, start with this initiative. It's completely health risk-free because you don't need to exchange documents and stuff like that. Therefore, you just walk through, and there is no chance of you passing an infection to somebody or vice versa. This is going to be the next big thing from a adoption from an ecosystem perspective, right? It's a completely decentralized ecosystem, and also called as trustless sort of an ecosystem. And I'll explain to you how it works in a brief manner. So process, I think not much to be told here. you know how to enroll, right? And we are trying to, as we speak, make it much more customer friendly. The first registration OTP that you would get maybe will go away in the next couple of months. We don't want you to unnecessarily enter one more OTP. So you have the Aadhaar OTP already, enter the Aadhaar OTP, get your eKYC, take your selfie, and then you are done, right? Maybe maximum 2 steps is what you'll have to do. With that, you create your identity credentials. And then once you decide to travel, you have a boarding pass. And I don't know how many of you know that today we have a native sharing. So for example, if you have got your boarding pass on email and you open the PDF boarding pass, from the PDF itself, you can directly share to Digi Yatra if you got the Digi Yatra app, right? The other thing that we are also going to do is coming soon, right? You will find a few of the airlines will enable direct sharing from their check-in app to Digi Yatra. Online travel agents as well. In the next few days, you will see some news coming out. And yeah, my team will really bash me for this, so I don't want to tell the names. But then yes, in the next few days, you will get this feature where from the check-in functionality of an OTA, you click share to Digi Yatra and that's it. So it's again one-click sharing. Stuff like that, right? And then of course at the airport, you know already, some airports offer superlative experience, and I can vouch for some of the airports where I frequently travel, right? 2 minutes from airport entry to security, 5 minutes maximum for security check, 7 minutes you are into the boarding area. And how fast can it get? And I realized this, right? I came in yesterday, and yesterday morning's flight I took from Bangalore to Mumbai. And the night before had rained heavily. And this road was flooded. That was my normal, regular road to the airport. The road was flooded. I had to take a detour. So detour meant like 1.5 hour, almost 1.5 hour delay. And then I reached the airport late, and I was like already having butterflies in my stomach. This flight to miss ho jayega aaj. But then in actually 7 minutes, not even 7, 6 minutes, I was in the boarding area. So I think this is the kind of meaningful experience that we want to give. This is the meaningful intervention that we want to give to our customers. So the one that you see coming soon, right, has been there from quite some time. We have, from a technology perspective, already done e-passport based integration. It's under prototype testing. We will ensure that, first is we want to get people to say that, I want this feature. So we are going to put out a survey. Again, that's also coming soon in the next week or so. The survey deck is prepared. And on the app, you will get this survey that, do you want to define the journey of Digi Yatra? This is your Digi Yatra, right? It's no longer mine or the airports or Digi Yatra foundations. It's your Digi Yatra. It enables you to do something in a much more better way, right? So we would want you to define, do you want this service? And when the survey comes up, please do, ask everyone to punch in, just 5 selections that you have to do, that you want these services. And then we will take it up for all kinds of approvals that are required and then take it forward. So this is basically the process. What we are trying to bring across the table, right, is something which is so convenient for passengers, right? No longer any hassles, right? I mean, imagine you were to book the flat and then your electricity bill in your name, water bill in your name, gas connection in your name, everything automatically happens. That's what we want to do with air travel and more, right? It's secure, and that's again one of the key messages that we want to give here. Secure meaning, today, I do not know, not many people really worry about, your own personally identifiable information. And whenever you go to a mall, for example, you buy something, you are at the counter, and the first question that the counter folks ask is, give me your mobile number. And it's so easy, right? I mean, if I want to really find out somebody's number, I have to just be around that area. And when that person comes to the counter, the number is being told, right, orally. And how safe is that? Anybody is thinking about it? So we can give an option, right? So secure, completely secure. There is system to system data exchange that happens. There is no leakage of the data that is possible. It's faster, obviously you understood and you all appreciate about it, right? It's very safe. I would say because one is from a data perspective, it is safe. The other is from the document exchange perspective, right? Especially after the pandemic, if you have noticed the change in behavior of people, not wanting to touch any foreign equipment, object, or any public device, right? All that is fundamentally, inherently there in the system. It's also sustainable because there was the brick and mortar way of managing growth, which is for airports, for example, build a bigger terminal building and add more counters, add more processors, and leave a huge carbon footprint behind. But why not make the whole airport efficient as it is? You add maybe 30% more capacity to your terminal building with just efficient processes. So we also contribute towards sustainability. You don't need to print your identity card. You don't need to print your boarding card. Again, that contributes towards sustainability and the lesser carbon footprint. It's clearly visible. And this is what is my key message, right, today. We are 22 months into this journey, and we still don't know you. And this is a t-shirt that we have, and I sometimes wear it, right? And many people point a finger, Digi Yatra, you make my life easier, right? And that's something which I like to sort of, it's not the money that is important, right? It's those memories that you carry. And I'll give one small story, right? So I was at Delhi airport, and there was a kid, maybe 12 years or so, and kid was with his mom, and they were in front of the Digi Yatra gate. The kid asked the mom to go first, and then kid followed, and I followed them. And as I went inside, I saw the kid was telling the mom, "Mama, dekha na, Digi Yatra se kitna aasan hai." And it is that memory, right, and that experience that I like, to carry, right. Those are those memorable experiences for me. So the message here is that 22 months into this journey, more than 7 million user base, right? More than 35 million times that Digi Yatra has been used, and we still don't know you. And this is the privacy by design aspect of our whole ecosystem. So a little bit on the tech piece, right? What you have, so if you see over there, I'll just come closer to this. So you have the passenger, right? And there is a wallet, and this wallet is basically your Digi Yatra app. What does it have? It has your credentials. So today you got identity credentials, you got your travel credentials. So these credentials are what are stored in the wallet. Who issues the credentials? It is Digi Yatra central ecosystem. And who verifies those credentials? It is the airports where you are traveling from, right? And today it is airports, tomorrow it could be many other places where your identity might get validated. So we are built on something called as self-sovereign identity. And by the name itself, it says that self-sovereign means you yourself are in charge of your data, right? It gives you that empowerment. It's built on W3C standards. So we use verifiable credentials. Verifiable credentials are simple, soft forms of your identity card. And we use Hyperledger Aries, and that's something which we are also an associate member of Hyperledger Foundation, which is part of the Linux Foundation. And completely secure, right? It uses public-private key pairs so that, data cannot be misused by anyone. Again, just a much more clear description. The holder is you, who has all the credentials stored. Issuer, which is Digi Yatra Foundation, issues credentials. Holder shares it to the airports. And what is stored in the registry is only proof values. So for every credential that is issued, there is a proof value which gets generated, and that proof value gets stored in the registry. And that's what gets validated. So nobody can tamper with the data. So it's also a tamper-evident kind of an ecosystem that we have built. So passenger is completely in control. To whom the data is being shared, when it is being shared, what is that data that is being shared? Everything is known to the passenger. So that's how we are empowering passengers. It's a privacy by design, privacy by default sort of an ecosystem. And as I mentioned, more than 7 million users until few days back. And hopefully by end of this year, we'll be around 9 million. And then hopefully we grow further with more number of airports coming up. We got 24 airports today, another 5 airports joining us. So that this will be like, an addressable volume of 85% to 90% of India's flying population with all these airports that are there. So that's our, I would say, passenger coverage. For future, basically, what I would like to say is that we would want to be the travel stack of India. So it does not just mean that at airports you use Digi Yatra credentials. Maybe again in the next couple of months you will see that you can actually share your credential directly for any other purpose, right? And again, we'll ask this question in the survey, and please do answer to support that particular rollout. It's a simple, safe, secure sort of a process. And what you have to do is perhaps at the hotel you might have to just tap your phone and your credential gets validated with your face. Very simple, and or it could be just a QR code. You scan the QR code, credential gets shared, you get validated, and that's it. You could actually enter into the hotel room also using the same face, right? All those could be possible. We are also getting into the next stage, which is with IATA. We're working with IATA, which is the global body, redefining international travel. So that is something which is again work in progress. So in the next 3 to 6 months, you will see a lot of things happening. We will also be putting it out in the social media and the news media, what developments are in place. We also want to be much more friendly to our users. So we do not want to just cover the elite, right? We want to cover each and every flying, population. And this goes with Prime Minister Narendra Modi's the Udan scheme, right? Where Ude Desh Ka Aam Nagrik. So Aam Nagrik also has aspirations to fly, and why not they fly with Digi Yatra? And that's something which is an inspiration that I got from one YouTube video where this person in Chappal and Gamcha, and his YouTube video is titled Chappal and Gamche mein Maharaja ki Savari with Digi Yatra. नहीं, चप्पल और गमछे में महाराजा की सवारी डिजी यात्रा के साथ. So that's how he has said. And when he said that, right, it struck me that, why can't I make my app available in every native language that is there? And so that is something which we will have. And then, of course, a lot of other support from maybe there is an avatar which guides you to enroll, share, and do whatever you have to do. So these are things which we are going to do. International travel is something which we are trying to target. Driving license-based enrollment is going to also come up. E-passport based, as I told you, very soon. And then airline OTA. Next few days, you will see in the news that, one of the OTAs will enable that direct sharing of credentials. And yeah, multilingual app, AI chatbot. So this is, I think, the last slide that I have. Thank you very much. And I'll open for questions if I have time. I don't know. I think it's already 1 or 2 questions. Yeah, we have somebody here. So we are funded by the airports. Digi Yatra Foundation is a not-for-profit company, which is having shareholders, Airports Authority of India 26%, and rest 74% is equally divided between Bangalore, Hyderabad, Delhi, Cochin, and Mumbai airports.
And it's going to be so?
Yeah.
Even when you go for the hotel industry and the other industries, the same model will continue?
So what might happen, I'll tell you. So for example, if we provide a service to the hotel, I might have a revenue model there, because I might say that, for the hotel, I'm offering a seamless experience for their customers. So I'll charge maybe on the basis of the number of keys that the hotel has. And that could be a revenue model for us. But we do not have any intention to charge any of our passengers with any of the costs that we incur. It's all funded by the airports.
Thank you.
Yeah. We have 2 questions over there.
Thank you. Thank you for that. My question, global interoperability, are you concerned about foreign actors and, interference and this and so on? Because there's such an established professional hacker community and so on, right? Does that bother you? How do you approach a problem like that?
Could you be a little bit louder? I couldn't hear.
Oh, sorry. I was asking you about global interoperability that you referred to. Does it bother you that, foreign actors, established professional hacker community and so on, how do you approach a situation like that? Within India is one thing, abroad is...
Thank you for asking this question. Fantastic question, right? And this is, so since we do not store any of your credentials in any central repository, so 7 million user base, none of the 7 million users' credentials are in the cloud. No central storage. So if somebody has to hack into your data, they have to hack 7 million phones to get the credentials. Does that answer your question? So it does not really worry me so much. And then, of course, I'll just add to that. So there is one more thing that we are trying to do, which is a fully homomorphic encryption, which will not let you transfer any data which could be potentially misused. So that's something which is work in progress. Yes, please. Last one, I think.
Thank you, Mr. Suresh. Pirash this side. So I can proudly say that Digi Yatra is one of the most fantastic digital disruption I have seen in the recent time.
Thank you.
Especially in the India. So congratulations for that, and thank you for putting all the work together. On the question side, we're talking about 7 million passengers right now, right? So that number is going to grow over the time period. So how is that the speed of that entry would be optimized in the say from now to we are going to say 70 million or something like that, right? How is that speed going to optimize? Because then non-Digi Yatra passenger would be lesser over the time period than the Digi Yatra. Then what would you do?
I keep getting this question many times, right? So today's manual process takes 15 to 20 seconds for you to get validated. 15 to 20 seconds. Digi Yatra takes 5 seconds. That will not change, right? You got 4 times better efficient process itself. Even if everyone shifts to Digi Yatra, the process is going to be much more efficient. Thank you.